1, 2, 3. What are the beginner's mistakes?
The most common beginner's mistakes are printing too large and too complicated of an object. Rushing ahead, not reading the manual that comes with the printer, not reading the tutorials that come with the software. One can do this and learn the hard way, but it's always important to try to stay humble and just pick a simple object to get familiar with how the machine operates and how to use it.
What do you need to think about when you position the part? How many parts you can make together?
Yeah, the most important thing is that you understand how big your print surface area is. On this particular machine, you have 230 millimeters by 230 millimeters. You have to understand, though, that you can't use 230 millimeters by 230 millimeters. You need a margin around for these little clips that clip onto the bed. So you need to understand how much room you have. You need to understand how long it's going to take for the parts to print. Do you have the time? Do you have the material? You got to plan out the job.
What do you need to consider when you design for 3D printing?
Yeah, you need to consider, again, time, use of material. How much material are you going to use to produce this? What are you producing this for? If you're just producing one thing, maybe a toy or just a part, one thing you need for a project, okay, so you can, if it takes a little longer, no problem. If you waste material, okay. But in commercial production like we're doing here, we have to consider that when we're printing, how long are these things going to take and how much material, because that becomes increasingly expensive over time. So you have to understand how best to print this, because there's support structure that needs to be put in here. One has to design a part so the minimum amount of support structure is used, because that just goes into the garbage after, right? It's a waste. So there's a lot to know, more than you could ever imagine.
Which printers are you using? What's the brand?
This brand of printer is called the Creality Ender 3. It's a very popular printer. It's for the money, for the price. It's the best option. But there's certainly much better quality printers out there. But I have a lot of respect for these. They do a great job for the price. And there's a huge support community online. So if you want to get into 3D printing, I strongly suggest getting a Creality Ender 3 for sure.
And how is the process from the CAD program to the printing?
The process is again, depending on what you're printing and what your purposes are, how much experience you have. It can be a little bit daunting, but you export your file as a still file from your 3D design software, and then you move it into the RIP software, and you select settings that you need that are appropriate for the job. Yeah, it really depends on what you're doing and what kind of software you're using.
And which software do you use, like intermediate?
Well, we use SolidWorks, we use FreeCAD, we use various different things. And then the RIP software, we use Cura, whatever number it is. Right now it's Cura 5. Cura is free software, so definitely recommend using that. There's other softwares that I've used in the past, but I like Cura the best. It has, for free, it's a great product.
And what have you just finished there printing?
Again, this is for the grills, the gradzis. So this piece here is the piece that goes on the bottom here. So now this one is ready to be painted. So yeah, 3D plastic can be painted. So that's another good option. You know, we can make this any color we want. So.
And what do you need to think about when you remove the pieces?
You got to think about not breaking it, and that's something that happens a lot. So these printers come with a spatula. So, you know, be careful. Sometimes it comes off really easy like this. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I have to take like a hammer and I have to chisel it off. Really depends.
Okay. Tell me again, what's the beginner's mistakes?
Well, yeah. Thinking too big, thinking too complicated, not reading the manuals, not understanding how to use the machine. But all those things over time get easier. So the not understanding how difficult it can be is, I think, the first mistake. Other mistakes, probably with material bed adhesion here, how to get things to stick to the bed seems to be the biggest problem for beginners. You go online, everybody says something different. I found things very helpful online. I found things not helpful. It really depends. Yeah, so, and also your understanding of the ambient environment. So if you're printing in a very humid environment, very hot, like we can find in Brazil, you're going to get different results than somebody who's printing in a desert or printing in Canada in the middle of winter. So understanding the room and how that environment affects your printing is something beginners don't realize.
Okay, thank you very much, Will.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Yay. It's over. It's over.